And we are live. What up, players? Welcome to episode 209 of Player Life. It is the 11th of January 2022 here in Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, signs that she likes you. That's today's topic. Um, Thank you, Sploo Blue Terp, for the $5 donation. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it very much so. Thank you indeed. Um, yeah. So had a good weekend here. What is today? Is Tuesday? Yeah, it was a long weekend. It was a long weekend. Yeah. So I went out on Saturday night. Saturday night. Yeah, I went to a club. Went to a club on Saturday night. Um, yeah, I think I'm done with clubs for a while. Clubs are just, I'm just, not that they can't be fun, not that I actually picked up a girl from a club. Um, yeah, on Saturday night, I took a girl home. But yeah, it just, I don't know. Just, I mean, it's fun, yeah, but just dealing with drunk people, dealing with annoying people, um, crowded spaces. It's just kind of, sometimes you just need to give it a break. I don't know. It just feels dirty. There's dirty people around you. It's like, obnoxious, annoying people. But I don't know. Yeah. Uh, I'll give it a break for a while. But it's good to mix things up every now and again. But I don't think I'm gonna go to a club for at least another month. At least I went to clubs a good bit over Christmas, over the winter break. So I'm not looking to. It's kind of get annoying after a while. It's the same old same bullshit. But in saying that, yeah, I picked up a girl. The thing about nightlife is that you really, it's really just about finding a girl that's not gonna is doesn't have anyone else around to cock block you. Um, just find a girl on her just that's alone. Makes it a lot easier because like when you're, it's not that you can't approach girls that are with other girls or in groups or anything, but it just become there's more interference. There's more interference. So yeah, I don't know. Depending on the club, you can post up, like wait for girls to come by, or just walk around the club, um, and find girls that are alone, basically. You know, if a girl goes to a club, let me see. Sploo Blue Terp says day game is better than night game. That's for sure. That is for sure. Um, yeah, it just is. Day game's definitely better. Um, I mean, in terms of the ROI, return on investment, day game is definitely better. Um, definitely. I was talking to a friend. I was talking about how different techniques of doing cold approach. And one of my friends is, he does way less cold approaches than me, but he basically, his game is kind of like, he tries to get some IOIs before making a cold approach. So he has a very low like rejection rate, because he establishes some he establishes something through eye contact, or tries to establish some indicators of interest um, from a distance. I mean, it's kind of an interesting way to do it. Um, but I would definitely. It's not really something I rely on. there's a lot of girls that I would not have hooked up with if I employed that technique, because sometimes girls just don't see you. But if you don't ever want to get rejected, I mean, you could do that. You could try that. I mean, try and establish like eye contact, with a girl, wink at her, smile at her. That takes practice too. It's not easy to do that. um, and I actually I think that's, I wouldn't say it's a hole in my game, but it's not something I like really doing. I don't like really. It just I'm just uncomfortable doing it. But it does take practice, because you can come across as looking a bit. I don't know. I just prefer to make a cold approach rather than like trying to like wink at a girl from a distance, or trying to smile at her. Sometimes you can feel like it can almost feel creepier doing that. You can almost feel creepier like smiling or winking at a girl from a distance. That's almost, for me, that's it feels like, that's like creepier. But I mean, it works. It does work. I've seen him do it, and it's a way. Yeah, if you're a guy that doesn't like getting rejected, which well, who likes? No one likes getting rejected, but it's one way to circumvent that. But yeah, like I said, it's not really something that I employ, because if I did, then yeah, there's just a lot of girls that I would not have met. This is a lot, like, because they just, for whatever reason, they just don't see me. They're walking, or they're looking at their phone. It's can be hard sometimes. You're not going to be even able to do it. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I saw the girl in the club on Saturday night. She was alone. She was just standing in the looking at her phone in one of the stairways. Just started talking to her. Yeah, eventually, took her to the dance floor, escalated with her, no resistance. Funny enough, when I was making out with her on the dance floor, these two guys were, I just noticed these two guys obviously saw that, I basically caught one of them trying to like pickpocket her. And that almost turned into a fight. But yeah, at that point I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. I just took her and said, let's get out of here. And you know just took her home, taxi, had a good night. Good times indeed. um and yeah, she stayed over, and she left that afternoon. And yeah, funny enough, I had a date set up for with another girl at like 7 p.m. And this was from day game. About a week ago. About a week ago, I was just out and about. Saw a girl crossing the street. At a crosswalk. I liked her style, so I doubled back and went back and cold approached her. Um, say, hey, I like your style. Started talking to her. She was in a bit of a rush, so I just got exchanged contacts with her, and I ended up meeting her on Sunday evening. Yeah, I mean, that's an example of a girl that didn't give me any indicators of interest, like zero. So honestly, I mean, prefer just I prefer just outright cold approaching girls rather than waiting, trying to establish like eye contact with them, or establish any indicators of interest before. But you can try and mix it up. You can do a bit of both. You know, like I would say, where possible, if it's possible, like in a situation where it's possible, as in like, you're sitting down and there's a girl sitting opposite you. In that case, you could try and like establish some eye contact. Try and like gauge her interest level. Try and look at her. Um, try and look at her, try and like, smile, try and, try and get her to smile, try and see if she's like interested in you by her body language. Um, if it's possible. But sometimes in day game, like on the street, when everything's fast moving, people are moving around the place. Yeah, I mean, people are walking, people are in their own little worlds. It can be, sometimes it's not possible to establish like, whether she's interested or not. So in that case, just go and approach them and see if they're interested from there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes it can be useful, I guess, to try and like in certain circumstances. But I still think sometimes it's just you just have to approach regardless, because sometimes women are so stingy. They're so stingy with their indicators of interest. They literally might not look like you could be sitting like it's happened to me before, like where I've been in a cafe or wherever restaurant, sitting down. I've even tried to like look at them, try and establish some to gauge whether they're interested or not, or they're open to me approaching them. But they're just like they're giving nothing, like zero. But still, I like their style, so I still go and approach. I end up getting the number. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I end up getting the number, and getting the date, and then getting laid. So I'm still a believer in just like approaching regardless. Yeah, but it's also, it's yeah, it's still something that some guys can employ. My friend employs it. He almost never gets rejected because that's his technique. He only you know he only approaches if he gets some overt indicators of interest. And maybe if you do that, you're gonna get laid less. Um, he seems to do pretty well. Um, he does pretty well, pretty damn well. But he's a lot of things going for him. He has, I would say, a lot of good things going for him. So I don't think I wouldn't recommend it as a technique for most guys. I mean, like I say, you can mix in a bit of both. Like mix in, like try and where possible, try and if you want, try and establish like some in eye contact. Get comfortable with get comfortable. It does take practice, like it really does. You have to practice like doing it to try and not feel creepy, like to try and like, because if you get caught like it's happened to me. If you get like when the girl finally does look back at you, like if your face is like too stone cold, like, or too serious, you like sometimes your face just feels like too stone cold, and you feel creepy. Like you feel like when you're looking at a girl and your face is stone cold and you're not smiling, you feel creepy. So it takes practice to like loosen up your face, be more relaxed, get comfortable smiling, like in a non creepy way. um but yeah, it definitely takes some practice. But yeah, so it was interesting on Sunday, because the girl that I met on Sunday. So yeah, it was like met her from Cold Approach. And she was a girl that I could tell was definitely interested in meeting me, because she was always very quick to respond to. Well, first of all, she was quite receptive when I cold approached her. Um, she was in a rush, but she was like, oh, she was just very receptive. Um, Cute girl. But yeah, she was very. She kind of messaged me a lot, like more than like I was always trying to like just get the logistics. But she was asking me questions, and I was like, I would answer some of them, but I was like trying to like, we'll talk about it when we meet. Let's leave it for let's. ask me on the date kind of thing, because she was asking too many questions. But yeah, so that's an indicator of interest. So she was like, obviously, it was a sign that she was interested in, she was excited to meet me. But yeah, so let me check. Gabriel in the house, what's up, brother? What is good? Know your worth in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're well. Um, so yeah, that was a sign that she was interested, because she was messaging back a lot. I mean, that is the most obvious sign that a girl is interested in you. Like, it is like when she messages back like very quickly or reasonably quickly. Um, if like it's yeah, and a lot of girls don't do it. Like, just because a girl doesn't like message you back in a timely manner, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't still bang her, but it tells you she probably has other guys in her life, and you're not a priority. Like, if a girl really likes you, like, she'll reply pretty quickly, certainly within the same day. Like, certainly girls that don't reply on the same day is like, yeah, they're not that interested. And like I said, it doesn't mean you can't still bang them. It doesn't mean you still can't get with them. But it just means that, yeah, they're not super um they're not super excited to go and meet you. But like, yeah, so yeah, this girl was like, she replied, she was very receptive. So I met her. um uh Yeah, I met her, and yeah, it was funny actually. In the messages, she was saying that she doesn't. Well, of course, they're all gonna say this, but she was saying that she never usually gives out her contact details to guys that approach her. Um, but yeah, they're always gonna say that. But she was also asking me how, girls will sometimes girls will shit test you when, they'll say, "Oh, how often do you do this?" Or like, you know, um, but whenever a girl tries to shit test me and saying, "Oh, you do this to all the girls," or like, you seem like some girls know that I'm good at it. Like, they know that because I'm just relaxed, my body language and stuff. But I just agree and amplify. So whenever they ask me, like, "Oh, do you like um do you cold approach?" Well, they don't say, in Japan they call it nampa, but nampa means cold approach. It's a thing, but they'll ask me and say, "Oh, do you do this all the time? Do you talk to girls on the street? Do you approach girls on the street all the time?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, every day, just agree and amplify." Yeah, I do it every day. That's true. The funny thing is, but they think I'm joking. That's the irony of it, because it sounds like they're just not used to meeting like guys that do that. So yeah, like they'll think I'm joking. That's the fucking hilarious thing, but I'm not. Well, some days I don't approach. Some days I actually don't, but I'd say most days I approach a girl. At least one girl. You got to keep the sword sharp. Make some kind of approach, some kind of like opening. Just talk to some girl, like, even if it's not, um, just you gotta stay in the frame, in the because, like, when you don't approach, when you're like, if you go, even though I've approached like thousands of girls over years, like, if I don't do it for like a week or two, you still gotta loosen up. Like, you gotta, like, it's just social skills. It's just like, um you got to warm up. That'll probably never change. You have to warm up. Like, it's like if I was home all day and I hadn't been talking to anyone, and I go out, and sometimes the first approach is like a little bit stiff. So um you know that's why it's just, I always tell guys that have never done cold approaches, it's like, just like, you just get used to talking to people. And it's no harm in doing like warm ups, like, just warm ups. Like you can even approach like a girl that's not even necessarily your type, just like, and don't, without even the intention of getting her number, just as a warm up, just like ask her how her day was, or give her, talk to her about something, um just to warm up. And then, like, because you know you're not supposed to let rejection, like, affect you, but it can definitely, when if you get, like, if the first girl you approach is very receptive to you, like if you go out to do day game and the first girl you approach is very receptive, and that gives you like a positive energy, right? It makes you feel good, like you feel, and then you tend to, like, carry around that positive energy to the next approach, and you're more confident and you're more relaxed, and you're not like, you're not tense. Like if you the first girl you approach is like very, like, bitchy and like rude, uh you're not supposed to let that, like, you're supposed to not let that affect you in any way whatsoever. You have to like be like that, but like you can really let, well, you should let, when a girl is positive, you should let that positive, if very receptive, positive girl, you should let that positivity, like, that'll increase your confidence. Allow it, it will, you'll just feel better. So, it's kind of a snowball effect. You'll just get like better, and girls respond like very well to positivity. That's why I talk about that a lot. Like you have to be positive. Like the whole thing, like the thing about getting with women, the thing about being good with women is, it's kind of like remaining. It's like remaining positive in a field of shit. If that's a bit of a crude way to put it, but like, because you're gonna deal with a lot of rejection and stuff. So you still have to remain positive, because if you go up to a girl, that is, not, a girl that might be interested in you, but you're like carrying around this negativity from getting a bunch of rejections, you might screw it up, because like you're being like, you're not really a good vibe to be around. She can sense it. You just gotta, like, be your best version, and try and just not, try and bring something, like, just remember that you're the prize. Like, you're gonna improve. You're gonna, like, benefit her. Like, she's gonna benefit from being around you. It's, um, you can't roll up to girls with the mindset that, oh, like, they're the prize. Like, roll up to them like you're giving them a gift, a gift. You're a gift to them. Um, they're not a gift to you, even though, yeah, it's like mind games. You got to play these mind games. Um, Know Your Word says it took me goddamn near 300 approaches to be relaxed, but got several key lays out of it, and it snowballs from there. Very true, man. Very true. And yeah, like I said, it's something that you have to keep. You know, you have to, like, keep at it. It's like, it's not something that you will completely lose if you stop. Like, once you've had one success, even from cold approach, from day game, like, you'll always know that it's like a worthwhile thing. It's a worthwhile way to you know to get women. It's a very the ROI can be pretty good. Um, but yeah, no, it's just in terms of like being comfortable, being relaxed. You kind of have to stay at it, you know. But yeah. So yeah, what was I saying? So so I met the girl like around 7 p.m. You know, and she told me that before she came to meet me, she was like, "Oh, I don't have any money, so this is kind of a shit test. These young girls, these college students, A lot of the time they'll say this. Sometimes it can be a bit of a red flag if they're like, oh, I have no money. But I was like, I'm just like, whatever. Don't. I just tell them, don't worry about it. You know, it's on me. Um, but I think sometimes they say that as a way to establish what you're going to be doing, like um. So I just say, oh, don't worry about it. It's on me. Just that's just the way I deal with it. But yeah. So she said that anyway. So I wasn't sure. Like I knew this girl was kind of interested in me, so but from her text message style, but so I met her. But instead, sometimes I'll take them. I'll be able to read the air, and I'll take them directly home. But I wasn't 100% sure about this girl, so instead I just took her to a small little bar that's near my house, and that I've been there like so many times with so many different girls, and it's this really tiny little bar, and it's funny because it's always the same guy working there, and he's funny, man. Well, it's just funny because the guy is so like it's getting a bit awkward now. I mean, the guy's cool, but it's like I feel like he knows what I'm up to. Like, I mean, well, he's known for a long time now, but because I've brought so many different girls and it's this tiny. It's a cool little bar, man. It's a cool little bar. It's so tiny, man. It's like it can fit around maybe around I don't know, not that many people. Maybe around. There's two little rooms. It's hard to describe, but but it's really small. It's a really small place. But I just like it because it's like literally 2 minutes walk from my place, and it's kind of has this nice little cozy atmosphere. Um, and it's this cozy, good little spot, but it's been rinsed. But I'm gonna continue to keep using it. But yeah, so I took her there just because I wanted to like didn't want to try and take her home immediately because I wasn't sure if she would take the bait that soon. But yeah, she was so we went there, you know. Um I just showed her the menu, she ordered, I'm obviously I'm not drinking, so I just ordered a soft drink, She was like, "Oh, you're not drinking." It's not a big deal. I just say, "Yeah, no, I quit. I don't drink." They always say, "Oh, why did you quit?" I just say, "Oh, I just, been there, done that, kind of over it." If you don't make it a big deal, like, it's not a big deal. Like you just, you you're the man. Like if you don't want to drink on a date with a girl, don't drink. They're free to drink. You're not gonna be peer pressured by a girl. Like you're the fucking man. So why would you care about what a girl like? I mean, it's just funny because I used to get like sometimes self conscious about it. Um, I used to get self conscious about not, if a girl like said, "Oh, you're not drinking," I'd be like, "Oh," feel like, "Oh, I have to justify it somehow." And now I realize, why the fuck would I have to justify it to a chick? Um, Kale, what is up, man? 6.99 super chat. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Keep it up. Great thumbnail. Thank you indeed. Um, appreciate it, man. Um, yeah, so it's not a big deal. And, when you don't see it as being a big deal, they don't think that it's a big deal either. Sometimes, whatever, they're impressed. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, you're so bored." Like sometimes they'll shit test you. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Sometimes they say, "Oh, you're so boring." Like who gives a fuck? Like it doesn't. And even when they say all stuff like, "Oh, you're so boring," like it's it's still it doesn't mean any. It doesn't mean that they don't like you. Still, it's just like they're just messing with you, really. Um, who cares? Like I'm like, yeah, I don't go. Yeah, just agree and amplify. Yeah, like if a girl shit tests you, it's always the same. Just agree and amplify. Yeah, yeah. It's Tumananitis. Yeah. Tumananai is boring. But yeah, so just I agree. I say, oh yeah, I'm so boring, so boring. I'm a boring old man. Just agree and amplify. It always works. It always works. But yeah. So it wasn't a big deal, you know. I had one drink with her, and it's funny, you know. There's always like, even though I've done this so many times, like so many times, like there's always that like blue pill. There's always that like blue pill guy at the back of my head that's saying like, "Oh, you can't leave this bar just after having one drink with her. You can't shoot your shot this early." Like that blue pill like guy at the back of my head is still there, even after doing this like hundreds of times. So it just reminds me of like how like blue pill guys think, like how they think, you know. It's still like, oh, guys feel like they can't guys feel that you know, they can't shoot their shot even on on the first date, like even if they spend hours on a date, which I definitely would never do. But you know, but I when I was blue pill, I probably did. Well, no, I did. um but yeah, no, so she, you know, she yeah, I always like shoot my shot like after having one drink. So yeah, but there's just that blue pill guy at the back of my head saying, "Oh, you can't, it's too much to." But that's just the blue pill guy at the back of your head. Don't listen to that voice, man. Like it's just that's the guy that doesn't get laid. That guy doesn't fuck on the first date. The guy doesn't. But you know, when you finish that first drink, or two drinks max, I would say, I would, you know, if you feel the vibe, if you've built up enough chemistry and it's good, you can just, you know. I always do the same thing in this place, you know, because you don't pay, you pay after, when you pay when you're leaving. So I was just like, I just stood up. I didn't even ask her. I didn't say let's go or anything. I just stood up and, you know, went over and paid. And so I said okay. And when I paid her, I just said okay, let's go somewhere else. And that's all you say. Let's go somewhere else. And you know, we went and I started walking as I always do. Start walking towards my house, and there's a convenience. This spot is, it's literally just down the road, but there's a convenience store in between the bar and my house. So um, you know, a lot of the time I'll stop at the convenience store to, not always, but sometimes I'll stop at the convenience store and you know, get a drink, so they kind of know what's going on. It's like non-verbal. Like I'm not telling them that we're, oh hey, let's go back to my place, but like we're buying drinks. So like a lot of the time they'll ask, oh, where are we going, or why are we buying drinks? I was like, oh, we're gonna have them at my place. It's just like you just do this like it's natural, like it's not a big deal. And then she said, "Oh, your place." And oh yeah, you just. So sometimes they're like, "Oh, we're going to your place," and you're like, "Yeah, yeah." Like just say it like it's normal, like not totally nonchalant, like it's not a big deal. Like there's no, like it's like. And if they go, "Oh, I can't come back to your place," you're like, "What do you mean? Like why not? It's just we're just gonna have a drink at my place," and you just calm, like kind of indifferent, like it's not like a big deal. You're like, oh, really? I mean, I thought we were just, you know, we're just gonna. I thought it would be nice to have a drink at my place. It's kind of comfortable. It's close, but like just be indifferent about it. And yeah, a lot of time that works a charm, and they're like, oh, okay, and they'll come. They'll be like, all right, okay, yeah, sounds good actually, and they'll come. Yeah, that's kind of what happened with this girl. She was like, "Oh, you were going to your place." I was like, "Yeah, yeah. Well, just it's nice, just around the corner. I thought we'd you know, watch a movie. Um, maybe we can get a pizza if you're hungry later." She was just like, it's just funny because like a lot of guys would be so like, that's where a lot of guys would fuck up. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we can go somewhere else. Oh, we can go to another bar then. Oh, okay, sorry." And then, you know, they don't realize that all you have to do is be kind of calm, kind of indifferent, like be like, oh, you know, I thought, you know, just kind of explain, what you want, what your intentions were, and they'll completely change. Like it's happened to me so many times where a girl will be like, "No way, I can't come back to your place. There's no way I can come back to your place on the first date. I don't do that on the first date." Very like it sounds very like sincere, and then you're just like, "Oh, really? Oh, all right. I just thought we would go back to my place and have a drink. It's just around the corner, thought we might watch a movie or something." And then sometimes they're just like, okay, it's just they go from like, no way, I'm not coming back to your place, to like completely like, okay, no, yeah, sounds good. Like it's like, uh, guys have no like a lot of guys have no idea how like how girls. A lot of time when girls reject guys, or pretend that they'll never come back, all they have to do is just like be relaxed about it and like explain that it's not a big deal, and they'll completely change it. They'll do a complete 180, like a complete 180 on it. Um, um, Calais says boundaries are super important. You got to have the boundaries. uh, Aaron R says most women won't like you. That's why you have to always be looking for her replacement. Um, I mean, you always got to be looking around. Um, I mean, it's good to be. It's good to have options, man. It's good to have options. You gotta have options, because if you don't, if you don't have options, if you don't have other leads, you're gonna come across as needy to the girls that you're trying to get. The girls that you're working on. Like if you're working on a girl that is that has like is not very responsive, and you know isn't really playing ball, but if you don't have any other options going on, you'll be tempted to message her, and it'll be you'll dig yourself even a bigger hole, which will turn her off even more. The worst thing you can do to a girl that is like not like very responsive is to like message her too much. Like you always like take your foot off the gas pedal whenever they're like unresponsive, and you just stop engaging with them. You remove attention and you stop messaging them. You can try again later, a week or 2 weeks or whatever later, but you have to be working on other leads. But anyway, so we're in a convenience store, and we're just getting some drinks, and it's really funny because the guy from the bar actually came into the store, and he actually like had her, like she forgot her phone, so he ran. It was really funny because like the guy knows, like he knows exactly what. Fucking hilarious, because the guy knows what I'm up to. Like he knows my plan, my route. Like he knows my route. Like because she forgot her phone. The girl forgot her phone, and we were gone. We were walking towards my house, and we went into the convenience store. The guy knew we were like he knew that we were in the convenience store. Man, that guy knows what I'm up to. But he's a cool guy. But he just kind of smiled and winked at me when he was giving me the phone, or giving her the phone, because he came into the store and I was like, "Oh, you forgot your phone," and I was like, "Oh, thank you, man," and he just winked at me. But yeah, no, it's just funny. But yeah, so I took her back to my place, and kind of escalated with her at my place, like while watching a movie, um, and yeah, so that was that. But yeah, good times all around there. Good times. So she stayed like Monday was like a national holiday in Japan, so she stayed like all day, and that was that was a good time indeed, a successful weekend of living the player lifestyle. Two hot girls back to back, and yeah, job done. Um, but let me just share something. Let's get it from a female's perspective. Let's see what some females have to say about signs that she likes you.
Out, which in return helps you out, and I really appreciate it. So, number one on my list is she texts you or she talks to you a lot. So, this one seems really obvious, but a lot of guys get confused here. Are you the one that's always reaching out to her? Does she only reply to you for a couple messages and you're constantly reaching out to her first and she never reaches out to you first? If so, that means she probably doesn't like you. But if she's sending you texts first, asking you if you have plans, asking you to hang out, making plans with you. I know some girls are a little bit more upfront and bold than other girls, and a lot of girls are worried about playing the game and trying to look like they don't like you when really they're sitting in their bedroom with their friends talking about you, hoping and praying that you text her. So this can be kind of confusing, but for the most part, the easiest way to tell if a girl likes you when you're communicating with her is if she is actively communicating with you as much as you are with her. So if she's texting you first, if she constantly texts you back, if she double texts you, all of these things are really good signs. If she never leaves you on red, if she always texts you back, if all of that is happening for you, things are looking good. But like I said,
I will say that like that's a sign when girls like respond to your messages like in a timely manner and text you a lot. That's a sign that she likes you. But if she, that she really likes you. But if she doesn't, it doesn't necessarily mean if she doesn't do that, it still doesn't mean that you can't get laid. It still doesn't mean that you can't bang them. If they're not like always, if they're not the ones to text you first, or they're not, super responsive, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't still end up banging them. It just means that it just means that they're not super. They probably have other things going on, but yeah.
that even if she's a girl that doesn't text you first out of not wanting to look desperate, she will still text you back and actively want to talk to you. Anytime I've been into a guy in the past, I've always wanted to talk to them a lot. I'm not a girl that waits to reply. I'm not a girl that plays hard to get. If I want something, I go for it. That's just how I am. And I know there's a lot of girls out there like that too, maybe are a little bit more hard to find in society these days. But like I said, for the most part, they will at least text you back. If you're constantly texting her, double texting her, asking her why she's not texting you back, stop wasting your time because she doesn't like you. Number two, this one kind of goes along with
It's not that you should never. It's not that you can never double text. It's that you should. It's less is much better. Like it's like I said, like it's if a sign that she is really down, is really into you, is if she's like very responsive and replies and all that. But just because she doesn't necessarily mean you still can't end up having success with her. But you don't, it reaches a point. That's why I say the rule of three. The three strike rule is when like at the very most you invite a girl out like three times. If she rejects you three times, or like there's different kinds. Sometimes three times is too much, but other times it's like there's like soft rejections where it'd be like, oh, sorry, I'm busy. That's one strike. Yeah, and then a week later you invite her again, and she says, oh yeah, but I have something else going on. Strike two. And then the final strike, the final invitation is like, oh, so so are you, you can say, when are you going to be free, or you can, so you try and establish like for once and for all if they're free or not. But you have to space it out, and after that it's like finished. Like three strike rule. You have to have these boundaries. You have to have these rules, or you're just gonna waste your time. It's not efficient. It's you're playing these stupid games. It's ridiculous. But
number one, but this one is making plans with you and is not wishy-washy. So she's making plans and following through with them. You guys are hanging out, you guys are having a great time. As a girl, I can say, unless you're my very close guy friend, I will not just hang out with you to hang out with you. I'm only hanging out with you if I really like you and enjoy your company. So if you're making plans with her and she's hanging out with you, she's not wishy-washy about it, she's not canceling last minute, then these are good signs and she probably really likes you. An important tip here is if you keep making plans with her and she agrees to hang out with you, but then cancels at the last minute or always has some kind of excuse as to what she's doing instead, do not pursue this girl. She's playing games. She just probably wants to talk to you because she's bored and doesn't actually want to hang out with you when the time comes for it to happen. So ditch this girl and get yourself a girl that actually wants to hang out with you, because if a girl wants to hang out with you, she will hang out with you. I know all the time on TikTok, girls tell other girls, if a guy wants to hang out with you, he will. So put yourself in her situation and think about, if you really want to hang out with a girl, you will. And if you don't, you won't do it. So it's the same on the other side. If a girl wants to hang out with you, she will, and you won't be questioning it. Number three, she asks you questions.
Yeah, I mean the cold hard truth about about girls that cancel on you is like the cold hard truth is that they're most likely canceling to meet another guy. So they're that's yeah, if there's levels to there's levels to canceling and flaking. Sometimes it warrants like you like ghosting them completely. Sometimes it'll be like, okay, you downgrade her to Netflix and chill. Um, other times you can there's times when it's like it seems maybe it's possible that it could be a legitimate excuse. So in that case, I'll give them one more chance, like to meet me. Depending on the circumstances and what their excuse was and how long before the date did they tell me. But yeah, there's levels to the disrespect of getting flaked on or getting cancelled on. But yeah.
So this could be when you're actually hanging out or when you're just texting her, getting to know her a little bit. If you notice that you're the one that's constantly asking questions and she's not asking you anything in return and is just talking about herself the whole time, she's either A, self-centered and full of herself and you're better off without this girl anyway, or B, she's not into you and just wants to talk about herself, and this is her way to do it. And to pay close attention to this when you're talking to a girl. If she's really into you, she's asking about your family, she's asking about your friends, she's asking you about your hobbies and things that you're into and what you like to do in your free time. She probably wants to get to know you, so this is a good sign. If she's asking you questions, this is good news. And another thing here, if you're on dates and she's just
I very much I disagree with this one a lot actually. For me, like honestly, when girls are a lot of time when girls are into you, they'll open up about themselves. Girls are girls are by nature very solipsistic. Girls are by nature kind of narcissistic. So girls enjoy a lot of girls and very much enjoy talking. They do enjoy talking about themselves, but they'll only enjoy talk. A lot of them will only enjoy talking about themselves. Around people, around guys that they like. A sign that they're not very into you is if they're not opening up about themselves much. Um, I mean, the girl I met on Sunday, like she like it was like literally 90% her talking, me just kind of feeding her questions. So she's this. I disagree with this one. This is something that I disagree about. This girl is kind of wrong about this, to be honest. Because she like I said, like they'll just enjoy talking about themselves. They'll tell you about their family and stuff. They'll show you photos of their pets on their phone and stuff. This is a sign of them letting you in on their very like kind of their private information. Their private kind of you know like for example, the girl was showing me photos of her sisters and her, of her pets and her cats and stuff, and telling me about her, what she did with her family and New Year's, and talking about, just telling me her life, her life story, but um and that's a sign that she was, I could clearly tell by the way she was opening up to me, and like that she was, she liked me. And she didn't, like, she did ask me, of course she asked me some questions, but it was me feeding her most of the questions, and that's the way I like it. I don't like talking about myself. I don't like doing all the talking. Let them talk. Let them talk. So this girl is wrong about this. Wrong.
talking about herself the whole time. Nobody wants to be with someone like this. I know in my first date tips video, I said if you're
That's hilarious. This girl is no. This girl is, well, listen. Some of the things she says are all right. Is all right, but she obviously doesn't. She doesn't have experience dealing. She doesn't have experience dating women. I have like hundreds of experiences dating different women. So telling you guys, like, just because a girl is talking about herself, that's actually a good sign. That's actually a sign that she does like you. Like if she's telling you like private like stuff about her life, talking about it, like if they show if like a girl is showing you photos of her family and stuff on her phone, that's a sign that she does like you, and like she's, you know sure, they should ask you some questions. It shouldn't be like 100%. Like maybe if they're asking you zero questions, that's maybe a bit of a red flag. But yeah, still stand by my opinion. My opinion that, well, I don't even think it's an opinion because of all the experience I've had. Like if if they're opening up, talking about themselves a lot, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. And in fact, it should be that way. That's the way I go about it.
a guy to not talk about yourself the entire time, because I've been on dates where this happened and I totally lost interest and just could tell that there was some narcissism happening. And as much as girls don't want to date guys like
It's very funny her talking about bringing in the word narcissism, because really, like, it's just the way it is, guys. Like women will talk about themselves, and like a lot, especially if they like you. So in my opinion, it's a good sign. And it's just female nature. You can't, but the reason women don't like when guys do most of the talking is because, first of all, women like talking more than men. And a lot of the time women can't relate to a lot of what guys talk about on dates. Like they just can't relate to it, like, because interests differ, like, so some guys might just start talking about stuff that is just not interesting to the girl. She can't relate to it. And so that's why girls don't like when guys do too much talking, um because they just can't relate to it.
that, you should not want to date a girl like that either. I don't care how hot she is, if she has no substance and just wants to talk about herself all the time, this will be a miserable relationship. Number 4, she gives you compliments. So maybe you got a haircut and she tells you that she really likes it, or she really likes your outfit, or she comments on your Instagram photo. Girls normally only give compliments when they like someone, or they're crushing on someone, or they're into you. So take this as a good sign. Like I said, most girls don't give out compliments to just anyone. There's normally some kind of motive behind the compliment. She really likes you and she's trying to get you to notice that she really likes you. So she's telling you that she likes your new sweater or your new shoes or your haircut. This is her way of telling you that she thinks you look attractive without coming out and saying you look attractive. So take these little hints, keep them in mind when you're speaking to her. If she's constantly complimenting you or even really complimenting you at all, this is a really good sign. Number 5, last on my list, is she remembers things that you said. Maybe you mentioned something to her about when you were younger, something that you were really into, and then later on she finds a funny meme or a photo or something online that reminds you of her and she sends it your way. This is her way of making up an excuse to talk to you, remembering something about you. This also shows that she's listening to you, and In a world full of distractions, it's so easy to not listen. When you really like someone, I think you're just more likely to actually listen to what they have to say because, like I said earlier, you want to get to know them. You want to know more about them. You want to know what they liked when they were younger. You want to know what they want in their future. All of these things, you just really want to get to know the person. So, if she's thinking about you and sending you things that remind you of her, this is a surefire sign that she likes you. And it's her way of wanting to talk to you and finding reasons to send you a text. If she's sending you a meme or something funny that reminded her of you, she probably really likes you. So, guys, that concludes my list of 5 signs that she likes you. Of course, this.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some things that I agree with, some things I disagree with. The thing that I disagree with most is the fact is when she said that if a girl talks too much, that she probably doesn't like talks too much about herself, it means that she doesn't like you. Incorrect, completely incorrect, definitely incorrect. Girls, this is just female nature. A lot of times it's actually the opposite. The more like kind of private information that they tell you about their about their childhood, about about their family, about their personal circumstances, about it, the more in my opinion and from my experiences, the more that they like you. um yeah, I mean, you know another sign that a girl likes you, but maybe like after the fact, like after the date, is when they, like, if a girl had a good time with you and she wants to see you again, 9 out of 10 times they're going to they're going to send you a message. They're going to send you a message about the date. They're going to say thank you. They're going to tell you what they enjoyed about the date. Like, I mean, the girl from Sunday sent me this like long paragraph of like not too long, but like a paragraph, like a little paragraph of like how thanking me for the date and telling me like how much of a good time she had, and she enjoyed the movie, she enjoyed the pizza, like you know so that's obviously a good sign. Like, just but if they don't send you a message, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't meet, like that you can't meet them again. Like, if you can't have them as a plate or anything, but it's a sign that if a girl doesn't send you a message after you meet them, after it means that a lot of time it means that they don't like, they're not super into you, but it doesn't mean that you can't keep them as a plate or that you can't meet them again for sex, or that they're not going to come around again. It just tells you that like they're not super into you. um but I mean, the more women you've been with, just the more intuitively you will understand whether or not girls like you or not. Like, you'll have a good, like, just from the way, like, obviously another very obvious one is if like girls like are giggling and like laugh easily, like when you say something, like 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 you'll just say something and they'll say, oh, they'll laugh at it, like they'll maybe blush. um Sometimes, like, a sign in Japan that a girl likes me, um a lot of the time I'll know that they like me is if they like, because obviously Japanese isn't my first language. So sometimes I say things and they find it like funny, and they'll giggle and blush and like and say that it's really cute. Like, they'll like, so that's a sign I know a girl likes me when they all I know that I'm gonna bang a girl. I will know that I'm gonna bang a girl when they do that. If I'm on a date with a girl and I say something, and I'm not trying to say it to be like cute or anything, but I'm just trying to communicate. Like, I'm not saying things to be. But sometimes, like, they laugh at it because it's like, I might say something that might sound, to them it sounds funny or whatever. But I'll know that I'm gonna bang them when that happens 10 out of 10 times. if a girl giggles, blushes, and laughs and says, "Oh, that's so cute," whatever I said, it means that I'm gonna have sex with them. Well, yeah, like laws of probability says that I'm probably gonna have sex with them. Because they just, I don't know what it is, but they've, like, when a girl is like laughing at things that you say, or like is when sometimes if the girl likes you, they'll just find things that you say funny. Like they'll laugh easier. That's a really obvious sign. If a girl, like, we've all been in situations where, like, in maybe group situations where, like, a guy, like a group situation where a guy says something that's not even that funny, but a girl that likes that guy will, like, burst out laughing or start think that it's hilarious when it's not even funny at all. Like, no one else is laughing. It's just that girl. Oh, he's so funny. He's so hilarious, and it's like, no, like, it's not funny. Like it's not funny at all. Um, you know, no one else. But that's my point. Is like girls will laugh easier. They'll find things funny when they like a guy, like the little things that he says. Um, they'll just, I'm sure we've all seen that. Like, I'm sure if you're any way social, you've seen that happen before. You've been in a group, and you know yeah, it's happened to me. I've seen it happen to other guys, like where I've said something, a girl like bursts out laughing and say, "Oh, like, it's hilarious," and it's like I wasn't even trying to be funny. Like, it was like, you know, but or like, yeah, your friend says something that's not even funny. Like, he wasn't even saying it maybe as a joke, but a girl like, "Oh, it's so funny, how hilarious," and it's like, it's not funny. But obviously, it's just, yeah, it's a very, very obvious sign. If a girl finds you funny, you can bang her a lot of the time. Um, um, not like you're the butt of a joke kind of funny, not like that, but like, just an endearing kind of funny. Um, Know Your Worth says they'll demurely look up at you with puppy eyes. Indeed, they will. Viking Paradigm says the more they like you, the more she'll open up. Facts, man. Yep. That girl's like so off about the fact that she has no, she's a woman, so she has no experience dating girls. Like, I'm telling you, when a girl opens up and starts doing most of the talking, she likes you a lot of the time. A lot of the time, like, it's when they're not telling you stuff about, it's not when they're not opening up. When a girl is not opening up, that's when that's a red flag. That's like, oh, okay, she's, for me, that's a big red flag. It's when it's like trying to draw like blood from a stone. Like, it's like, trying, fucking hell, like, tell me something about yourself. Like, Jesus, I'm asking all these questions. Like, you're not telling me anything. Or they're like, mm, or like, if a girl says, "Don't ask me about that," or "Don't," it's like, okay, this girl doesn't like me that much. um, Croissant says, "I'm in Ukraine at the moment. Hard to read. Hard to read here. Girls often cold and don't show emotion. Need to watch for small signs and eye contact." Yeah, well, Eastern Europe tend to be colder. Not very, y- they're definitely not. I think they they tend to have a hard shell, a much harder shell. You just need to be more persistent. um, you got to break that hard shell, and then it's soft and gooey on the inside. But once you break the shell, it should be good to go. Viking says, I've said a dumb joke to two girls. One liked me and one didn't. The girl that didn't like me ended up fighting her friend for finding it funny. These hoes, man. These hoes. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny how they'll do that. In a way, that's kind of like cock blocking. Um. uh, Know Your Word says, "I'm Ukrainian. Ukrainian girls are not easy lays. Yeah, I've heard the Ukrainian girls are definitely they're not. I mean, there was somehow there was a myth perpetuated, like, I don't know, that Eastern Europe is easy to get with women. It's like it's a total myth. It's a lot like the myth in Japan, where it's like, oh, you're a foreign guy in Japan, you can just clean up and get with the hottest girls in Japan. It's like it's completely incorrect. Like it's the opposite. Like you need to have really good game to get with the hottest girls in Japan. You need to have really good game, and a lot of time you're going to need to be able to speak Japanese as well, because most of the hottest girls in Japan can't speak English, can or like barely speak English. Um, you know, a lot of time the girls that can speak, the cold hard truth is in Japan, a lot of time the girls that can speak English are like, they can speak English because they like foreign guys, and they like foreign guys because they're not the hottest. So that's another fact. But yeah, so I gotta go, guys. But thank you for joining. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate it. As usual, like, comment, subscribe. Um, check out the links in the description. If you want to book a consultation, hit me up. Break down game in more detail. But I'll be back. Yeah, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Not sure yet. But check out, if you want to stay up to date, check out my Instagram. I always post whether or not I'm going to be doing a live stream or not. 12 hours before. So that's where you can check that. But until then, guys, have a good one. Peace out. Bye bye.